Thank you, Program Director Kate Bapela. And I wish to acknowledge among us our guests from CAR, Dr. Murumba, with the delegation of the observers who are our friends and visiting us. You are most welcome. I hope you already are enjoying yourself being here. And wish also to greet all the members of the Electoral Commission staff who are present among us, and as already introduced, my fellow commissioners that are here with me. This is an opportunity for us to now to give a feedback to the fellow South Africans. And in the last 2 days that we have had a very successful special voting that has been conducted. We are pleased that we've completed the special voting successfully, and as matters stand now, we are very confident that all systems are good for the election day tomorrow. The National Results Center, as matters stand, all voting stations have closed, and this marked the end of the 2-day special voting in the local government elections of 2021. And the Commission extends its heartfelt gratitude to all South Africans who registered for and cast the special vote in their large numbers in our 21,974 voting stations throughout the country. And the people that had been able also to be available for the special visits at their homes in the past 2 days. And as at 1600 hours, 502,837 voters out of the 602,780 voters had been approved to vote as special voters. And of those, we now know that 83% were able to cast their votes. Similarly, by the conclusion of the day, we believe we would have visited all the voters who had been approved for their home visit. So on that, we want to be very much pleased. We want to indicate how pleased we are as the Commission that such a large number of special voters, for the first time, due to the COVID environment, we've been able to achieve this particular task. And while we as the Commission are pleased with the turnout over these past 2 days, the Commission wishes to point out that voters who were unable to cast a special vote for whatever reason may still vote at their voting stations tomorrow. So if you didn't manage, you are still welcome to actually go to the polling station. And the 2 days of special votes have also offered us as the Commission insights that we now believe will enable us to refine our operations to positively impact over the voter experience that we expect of South Africans who would be coming out in their large numbers to cast their votes. Therefore, we urge the 26.2 million compatriots who are eligible to come out and cast their votes in their respective voting stations. The network of 23,148 voting stations will be open for voting as of 0700 hours, and we then close at 2100 hours. It is important to emphasize that the eligible voters who will be at the voting station at 2100 hours in the queues will not be turned away. The Commission wishes to remind all the eligible voters that voters must vote where they are registered. In local government elections, you may vote at the voting station where you are registered. Further, the voters must be in possession of a valid South African ID document, and Home Affairs offices are open tomorrow to allow for the voters to collect their IDs as well as to apply for the temporary voting certificates. Each voter in a metropolitan municipality will receive 2 ballot papers, one for the award candidate and one for the political party. And in addition, voters in local municipalities will receive a 3rd ballot paper for the district council. And each ballot paper must be stamped on the reverse side to indicate the authenticity of the ballot during the counting process. We also just remind the voters to actually verify if the ballots that been passed to them has actually been stamped at the back. If it is not, kindly indicate to the officers at the station that your ballot paper, for whatever reason, is not in compliance. And it is also to be noted by all of us that it is prohibited for a voter to take a photograph of their marked ballot paper. And this arrangement is necessary to protect the secrecy of the choice of the voters. Further, the Commission reassures the South Africans and the voters that voting stations will be safe because of the following protocols that should, and we expect that they would be in place. Among them is that the Commission will ensure compliance with COVID-19 protocols within the boundaries of the voting stations. And the electoral staff will be provided with the necessary personal protective equipment to minimize the risk of contagion or spreading of the virus. And the PPE will include, among others, the following: face masks, disposable sanitizer wipes, hand sanitizing liquids, disposable litter bins with lids. The following acceptable methods to prevent the spread of COVID-19 will be enforced. Among them is maintaining social distancing by observing distance of at least 1.5 meters away from each other or the next person. And the sanitizing frequently touch surfaces will also take place and is encouraged. And if it is not being conducted for you, you are welcome to also request the officers that will be in our voting stations to adhere to that, and we'll appreciate that you are free to express that. But also there's another important issue which we have seen, South Africans with their wonderful humor on the issue of the pens, that the pens will be provided and disinfected after each use. However, voters are encouraged, should they wish, to do so because of COVID, then they should bring their own pens. The Commission will provide and has provisioned for every voter to actually have a pen. However, we are encouraging, should you wish, that you bring your own pen, that we'll welcome that. And other considerations is that the South African Weather Services advises that we should expect a bad weather in some parts of our country. And the necessary steps have been taken to manage the potential negative effect of the inclement weather on the voting and counting processes. But in cases where tents are blown away or there's a disruptions with the voting stations, the Commission wishes to assure that plans and contingency plans have been put in place to have those stations to be re-erected or to speedily ensure that we are able to proceed besides those particular possible disruptions. Preparations for this election have been undertaken with a truncated election timetable. As we all know, the prescribed timetable is 86 days. But these elections, we had to prepare in 42 days. I think this is an amazing achievement by all the personnel of the IEC to live up to the to live up to the expectations that we should, come rain or sunshine, we should be able to pull this off. And so, as we know, additionally, that the elections were proclaimed on the 20th of September 2021 by the minister responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. And this was just a day following the voter registration weekend. In the circumstances, there were voters whose registration details could not be captured or updated before the voters' roll was certified for use in this election. And we would like to be on record that as the Commission, we acknowledge that there are those voters whose number is approximately 140,000 that we could not upload their details. But in order to ensure that they are not disenfranchised but would participate, these voters will be permitted to vote as though their details were on the voters' roll segment of the voting district in which they present themselves. And this arrangement is authorized in terms of Section 7(2) Municipal Election Act, which allows for a voter to be allowed to vote on presenting proof that they had applied for registration before the proclamation of an election. And competent proof for facilitating the participation of these voters is the pre-approved MEC 7 lists compiled by the Electoral Commission. And the Commission is confident that all preparations are in place for us to achieve free, fair, and in the context of the COVID, safe elections in our 2021 municipal elections. And the Commission is further satisfied that it has done everything in its powers to prepare for these elections, which are highly contested given the number of candidates and contesting parties. A key aspect of our preparations included engaging with stakeholders, and this includes political parties and candidates, the media, security and government structures and agencies, the civil society organization, community-based organizations, the traditional authorities, and the voters of South Africa. It is time now for all of us to work together and to prepare that these elections are free and fair and safe, and that the outcome, as it should be, will reflect the will of the South African electorate. Therefore, our clarion call to all compatriots, South Africans, is that let's go out and vindicate our democratic right to vote. I thank you.